Kirby's Epic Yarn! Bringing it back with Mopo Shnack. How you guys all doing today? And welcome back to Taking a Bite. The show is informative as it is delicious. And you know what's funny I've noticed recently? No one ever seems to complain about graphics in video games, like ever. But Mopo, graphics don't matter as long as the game's good. What are you talking about? Are you shallow? Do you only like girls that have good graphics? No. It's about the personality, alright? I'm not some sort of scum or nothing. But looks, you know, they matter too. You wouldn't date a girl that looks like this! Oh yeah, we're talking about games here. Oopsie poopsie. But an art style for a game, it's more important than you'd think. It's the first impression. The initial vibe you get from a title is, what the hell does it even look like? You don't see the first 3 seconds of a gameplay reveal trailer and go, wow, I bet there's gonna be 3 alternate endings and the controls are great and that guy's gonna die because he's pretty handsome. No, you go, oh look at that tree! That tree's in this game and it looks like oil pastel. This game's probably gonna be oil pastel. And look better than Pokemon Sword and Shield. But beyond the simple first impression, art style can impact a lot of things. A title's longevity and how well it ages, for example. Just look at games like literally anything on the N64 or PS1. This is horrifying. Lara Croft's boobs are pointy. No. No touch. But then you got titties. I meant titles like Yoshi's Story, the original Paper Mario, and Klonoa. All came out for these consoles, but don't look as bad today because of their art style. They went for a more simpler, sprite-based aesthetic that looks so cute, I just want to hug it. So an art style is like really important, guys. Like it's like really freaking important. Like today, I'm snacking on a game that I feel exemplifies the importance of art style. So, without further ado, get out your Wiimotes and your sewing kits, kids, because today we're looking at Kirby's really freaking epic yarn. Wait a second, this isn't my Wiimote. That means the spaghetti that I had last night was... Oh no. Kirby's Epic Yarn! Ha! 10 years ago, Kirby's really cool string hit store shelves in Japan October 14th and in North America 3 days later. Seriously, Japan, that's just petty, come on. It was part of the influx of 2D platformers that Nintendo was spewing out at the time, alongside with new super, we'll just make another one, bros Wii, and game that's actually worth your money and time. And critics absolutely adored this game, giving it several awards before its release. Which, I can understand, as a lot of the other games coming out that year were all like, we gon' party, bro, wow, look at shorty, bro, wow, take a shot, pour it up, yeah, we bro, wow. So I guess Kirby's sick arts and crafts project seemed like a breath of fresh air to them. It's so cute and fluffy, and even today stands out as a really, really good looking game. Like, really good looking, like, look at that yarn. Look at those buttons. There are no pointy boobs to be found in this game. It's not the history and all that's out of the way. Let's play with some yarn. The game starts off immediately with an opening cutscene that takes a very cutesy little pop-up book aesthetic, narrated by some old white dude whose voice sounds like he does audiobooks for both the Bible and Arthur.
Magic yarn shimmered and spiraled. Kirby and Prince Fluff jumped for joy. Pants!
This cutscene kicks the plot in motion. There's a magic sorcerer named Yin Yarn going around turning people into yarn. Why? I don't know, he's probably just a fan of likable art styles. Kerbone sees a tomato made out of yarn and tries to eat it because that's literally his entire character, and then encounters Yin Yarn, who sucks him into his magic sock. Yeah, how about that, Kirby? Doesn't feel that good now, does it? The sock contains a pocket dimension where everything is made out of yarn, and Kirby can't use his sock powers anymore. He then finds a blue dude named Prince Fluff, and then our adventure starts to help Kirby become not made out of string. Prince Fluff then goes, hey, this is Patchland. Everything's yarn. This is your life now, brother. Get used to it. They try to get Kirby back to the real world while also sewing Patchland together again because the sorcerer guy ripped it up apart, I guess. Who cares? Who cares? I like the plot, though. It's all very in theme. The game knows what it wants to be and just kind of rolls with it. The cutscenes are admittedly kind of charming, and the story doesn't need to be that deep. Like, were you really expecting something like, just look at the box art? You know what you're getting yourself into here. And finally, after all that nonsense, we get to control Kirby, and immediately your little gamer mind goes, huh, Kirby can't suck no more. Literally the one thing he's known for. So what does he do instead? Well, lots of things. You see, what's funny about this title is it's less about the Kirby part and more about the yarn part. Should have been called Yarn's Epic Kirby. But that's not marketable at all and sounds pretty stupid. And like almost every other entry in the series, he could jump a bunch of times and suck enemies in and take their powers. That was like Kirby's thing. That was his shtick. People went nuts whenever he did it at parties. That's what separated this jump and run guy from these jump and run guys.
It slices and dices.
Epic Yarn takes all that and throws all that junk out. He's a trash man. He throws out the trash. I mean, not all of it's thrown out. You still got series staples like DDD, Meta Knight, Waddle Dee, and Bronto Burt. But besides classic characters, this game ain't like anything you've seen Kirby in before. So instead of all that, Kirby's abilities rely on the fact that he's now made out of string. When he runs fast, he turns into a car. When he jumps, his feet turn to a spring. He can elongate his jumps by turning to a parachute, and when he ground pounds, he turns to a little weight. Now this stuff is just fancy animations for really plain abilities. Nothing really new here. However, these functions only take care of 2 buttons on the controller. So what does that one button that we haven't pressed yet do exactly? Oh, he whips! It's a whipping Kirby! With said whip, he can dismantle enemies, roll them into a ball of yarn to be thrown at stuff, swing for buttons, pull things, unwind stuff. This whip is your new best friend. It will take care of you, brother. You don't need to worry anymore, you are safe. Other really big new fancy gameplay mechanic at play here is more transforming. Woo! A good chunk of levels contain little power-ups where Kirbology can transform into vehicles, whether it be a car, a penguin snowboarding thing, a dolphin, which is my favorite vehicle both in this game and IRL, UFO, fire truck, Thomas the Tank Engine. I f***ing hate this one. And these are awesome. I'll go in more depth with those later, but I'm only bringing them up now just because I want to show you how this game's a little different from conventional Kirby affairs.
This game's not your average girl, okay? She's different. She's different. She's pretty similar to that girl over there.
Yeah, it's not too far-fetched to assume that Epic Yarn takes heavy inspiration from Yoshi's Island. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not like I make the most original content in the world either, but you guys are watching me. But what's important is that this title distinguishes itself by taking its art style and going freaking nuts with it. Yoshi's Island kind of just looked like a pop-up book. That's all it did with it.
It looks nice. Wow, I wish it did stuff with it, but hey, at least it looks nice. I'm gonna put it on the refrigerator.
Kirby's Epic Yarn is its art style. Nothing in this game would exist if it weren't made out of yarn. It's amazing because it's not just an aesthetic. It's it. This is the game. This right here. Game. There's these little doorways where Kirby can go crawl inside and then travel behind the felt background. There are bosses and little stage elements that involve you unwinding thread. You unzip parts of the level. Everything you do in this game is linked to the fact that you're just a piece of string. And if you weren't, none of this stuff would make sense. What, you just playing a regular Kirby game and there's a giant realistic looking zipper there? No. What? Wait, it's all crafts? It always has been. Haha, funny me, this video's now dated. Wait, but if this is all arts and crafts, how is any of this considered epic? You know what? Actually, now that I look at it, a lot of this game doesn't even seem all that epic. You can't even die in it. What? All you do is just collect beads and watch the loading screen. Okay, this loading screen is pretty epic. Yes, you can't die in this game. Everyone loves to bring that fact up. Every time you meet a perilous situation, this angel thing swoops you up and mugs you of all your beads while bringing you back to safety. Beads are important, though. They're sparkly and fun to collect, and they impact what rank you get at the end of each level. You get either nothing, bronze, silver, or gold. Gold rank every level to get 100% completion. Understanción? Oh. You know, maybe this game becomes a little more epic as we go along. How about we take a look at each world and see? Let's do it.
Grassland.
Grassland's boring. I can do half of this stuff on my front lawn. Alright, no, it's not boring per se. It's definitely the most underwhelming, but it's the first world. The game's gotta open up to you gradually. You don't sit down to the first date and when she asks, tell me about yourself, you talk about your incomplete amiibo collection. Grassland being the first world establishes how the rest of the adventure is gonna go. Each level's gonna establish a new set piece and then implement it in different ways throughout the rest of the level. So like, you know, literally any good 2D platformer, yeah. First level is Fountain Gardens. It's definitely a level in a game. There's not much to say here. Resume's looking a little weak there, Grassland! Next is Flowery Fields. It has spinning flower wheels and little dandelion petals you can swing on. Whoopee! Then Rainbow Falls. It has water that falls. Okay. Next is Big Bean Vine, which is a level that's actually pretty cool and even memorable. It features the crazy gimmick of Kirby going upwards instead of traveling to the right.
That is pretty crazy. Up until now, I've never thought about what's above me. Then if the Wiimote's up there, then what was in my spaghetti?
And the main stage hazard here are these Waddle Dees floating up holding balloons that you gotta ride. Then you face the boss and move on to the next world. Simple enough. Grassland also establishes the formula each land is gonna follow. Beat a couple levels, fight Scary Monster Man, and if you're good at beating the boss, you get 2 more levels in the world as a little treat. After beating each level, you get to watch a charming little cutscene showing how the next level forms. Like this one, where a bear wakes up and that causes the level to appear.
Daddy, where'd your levels come from?
Bears. However, what I really admire about this title, in contrast to some other Wii platformers, is that each level has its own unique setting and vibe within a given world. It's not just every level is grass, and he's the grass. I'm the grass man. First level's a garden with little buildings and fountains. The next is all waterfalls, followed by a giant beanstalk. The levels within this world that appear after beating the boss are also unique while fitting the grassy theme, with a level that takes place in all dirt and a spooky forest. Ooh, I'm scared. Each new world also introduces new transformation power-ups for Kirby. In this world, you got this tank transformation that was all over the advertising because it probably made 7-year-olds foam from the frickin' mouth.
not just a tank, he's a car, a sub.
But there's also a surfing penguin, a mole robot suit that lets you dig, and a UFO that lets you fly around and suck things up. These transformations are all pretty okay. The tank one's amazing, but the other three, they're alright. The penguin is a little weird to control at first, but you'll get the hang of it in time. But like, I'm gonna show you these 4 transformations. What's the problem here? Yes, there's no dolphins, so I don't care. Hotland. Desert levels, volcanoes, dinos, oh my! This world's finally where things get a little more interesting, as the difficulty goes from a walk in the park to a walk in the park on a hot day. You know what? I'm gonna say, I love Hotland. Mostly due to the fact that I freaking love the music in some of these levels, like seriously. The music here is beautiful and good. Also, the transformations added in this world are dope. There's the fire truck sections, which are actually, dare I say, kind of difficult, as it involves Kirby protecting himself from flaming obstacles by putting them out with water. Or yarn that looks like water, I guess. However, these sections do use motion controls, which are surprisingly pulled off pretty well. I feel that motion controls aren't inherently bad. I feel like if it's just simply moving the controller or tilting it, I usually don't mind it or don't really care. And this is exactly how you aim Kirby's water cannons. None of that pointing your pack of spaghetti at the screen, Garbaggio.
I'm surprised this thing works.
Hotland also introduces the car, which is very fun to use and has a great sense of speed to it. These sections are just good. I like them. Hotland also has some really cool set pieces. Swinging from different pterodactyls was fun. Riding on top of dinosaurs was cool. Dino Land is just fucking awesome. I love dinosaurs. Also in the first level, there's these quicksand pits that I don't know how to explain them, but I like them a lot. Quicksand you see in a lot of 2D platforms. They all work the same. You just kind of jump out of them. But in Kirby's Epic Yarn, you kind of see like different colored little pieces of the quicksand. There's like orange and yellow, and then there's this thread that moves it along, and you can jump from one layer to the next. I hope that makes sense. Just look at the gameplay. I like that. It's creative. It's new.
Oh, Sweetland, bro.
Sweetland is actually the place where all the Tumblr girls that like Jack Skellington and Uyu Kawaii Cupcakes go to die. On one hand, you got levels based off of toys, music, and desserts. And on the other, you got dark, scary, haunted level, a level with wild mushrooms, and the boss here is one of the pumpkin dudes from Sonic Adventure 2. What were they on when they made this world? Drugs? Pugs? Sniffing rugs? I think maybe they were on HAGS. This world is pretty tame, but there are some memorable parts that I liked. I like the toy level a lot. There are these little duckies you gotta pull down slopes and giant toy robots that you platform on. There's even this little part where you see a crying teddy bear who's hiding behind this bag thing. Once you pull the bag thing off, you see that he was hiding a giant tear in his foot.
I too mask my pain.
So you repair the gash, and he gives you a little lollipop made out of bees. Like, that's like cute AF. Wow, this level's so fun, and look, like there's these toy soldiers and Is that Parappa the Rapper?
Mr. the Rapper, thanks so much for coming on our show. Huge fan, huge fan.
So tell us a little bit about your work. This level's so great, it can't possibly be ruined by any kind of motion control bullcrap. Yeah! Nothing screams motion control bonanza like a blank room with nothing in it.
The obstacle here is the controls.
Alright, in all seriousness, it's not that bad. I tried poking my eyes out with 2 needles to see if it was more pleasant, and while both are equally painful, at least I can still see after playing this train section. But hey, like, at least there isn't an entire level where that's the gimmick.
Waterland!
Every gamer's worst nightmare. Water.
No!
However, in this case, Wetland, it ain't too bad. Kirby controls pretty great underwater, actually, and still retains most of his abilities. The first level here has Kirby going through a beach at nighttime, where he then peels off the moon to make it daytime. And this was brilliant, honestly. It was such a small detail, but I greatly appreciate it and made the level that much more interesting and overall really memorable. Memorable, though, in a good way, unlike... Then Kirby goes through a coral reef, an abyss, a pirate ship, and the secret island. My least favorite level in the game. Now, on paper, there's nothing wrong with this level. But that's because this game's made out of yarn, the other one's a paper game. Heyo! It's all about jumping between in front and behind the fabric background, which there's nothing inherently wrong with that. However, a lot of the small puzzles within this level are extremely, I guess the word would be committal, or just stupid. In order to get certain goodies in this level, which you need to get to 100% the game, by the way, you have to complete puzzles that if you mess up, you need to restart the level. Like, there's a section right here where I throw a yarn ball at a block and kind of messed up the entire puzzle. What you're supposed to do is ignore this section and then wait until you're able to turn a Wild D's bow into a yarn ball, which can take out all the blocks at once, allowing you to nab the present. I have a problem with this, as most of Epic Yarn's puzzles don't really operate this way. They typically allow you to solve them on the spot. None of this, oh, we're Legend of Zelda, you gotta wait until you have the iron boots to solve this one. However, this world does introduce the dolphin submarine, which is freaking dope, and I love it. Dolphins are pretty cool. The power-up just simply feels really good to use. It's fast and snappy and has really tight controls. There's even this part in the Abyss level where you're being chased by a giant anglerfish that are actually kind of threatening and creates a tense moment, which stands out because up to this point, there's like none of those. Nah, but for real, what did you expect from a game where this is the main villain? This man looks like a logo for a taco stand.
Snowland! Brr.
And what's the one thing that gamers hate more than water? Solid water. What the f? What? Except in Kirby's terrific thread, Ice World's best world. You got levels based on cozy cabins, these Waddle Dees that throw snowballs that are made out of cotton balls, a level where you're hoisted up a giant Christmas tree.
It's all so comfy.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the rest of the game is really freaking comfy. The visuals are undeniably amazing, and it looks like the entirety of Pinterest just threw up and they turned it into a game. But this world, she takes the cake. The vehicle transformations in this world are also tip of the top, as you use the surfing penguin, which is a good time, and the car introduced in Hotland. There's not much else to say here. This place spanks.
Spaceland!
Yo, Spaceland, pretty cool, not gonna lie. The first level's got these electric woobly woos that you gotta pull in order to make them straight and use them as platforms. It's charming, it's cute, insert other Mopo Shnack compliments here. Then there's this gravity level called Mysterious Spaceship that's probably like the best level in the game. You play around with the gravity. When the gravity's turned off, you can't bash the blocks with your ground pound. It's cool because like the ground pound doesn't get used all that much, but in this level, it's like front and center and like fun. But Mopo Shnack, I don't know what fun is. I play Overwatch in 2020. Oh. I'm so sorry for you. But this level really takes advantage of the gravity mechanic. It even makes for some rewarding puzzles here and there. There's also like another really cool part in the level where you're jumping on planets and stuff and there's asteroids coming down. They're everywhere! Ah! Lucky for you, there's a switch that turns all the meteors into beads, which is like really nice because it changes the dynamic of how the level operates. You go from avoiding these flaming rocks to now trying to chase them. It's crazy. It's a good world!
Dreamland!
Oh, hello, Bronto Bert. By golly, oh gizzle, Curb Swizzle, Yin Yarn took over your homeland right under your noses. Kirby doesn't have a nose. But in a pretty memorable twist, the final world of the game takes place on Dreamland, which is typically the first world in most Kirby games. What's interesting about this world is that all of the new mechanics are just series staples of Kirby making a return. You got blocks with stars on them, the bomb blocks, these not Donkey Kong Country cannon things. I don't really know how else to articulate this other than it's really cool ending with the beginning in such a way. And those are your 7 worlds, ladies and gentlemen. Give them a hand. Haven't they been a lovely guest? Woo! They follow very conventional themes. I understand that, but it's the art style that carries the experience and prevents it from being bland. Granted, the game overall is also just a solid platformer. It's fun. Kirby controls nice and is very responsive. Honestly, the movement feels great and is paired perfectly with the animations. Like seriously, it actually feels like you're controlling a little car when Kirby dashes. It feels great. But I feel the root of this game's uniqueness resides in the fact that each level has its own gimmick. And that gimmick usually looks like a sweater Grandma made for you. Stage elements like the quicksand, the electric boobity boops, and the snowballs all propel you to keep on playing. You're interested to see what kind of creative and fun hazards this game has yet to throw at you. Even some of the bead placement is done in a creative way. In the Christmas theme levels, you have beads acting as ornaments. Sometimes they make little designs, like in the first level, there's a little heart over these Waddle Dees. Aww. There shall be no love in this realm. Where's this stuff in New Super Mario, huh? Huh? Show me. Show me. Oh, great rectangle 1-4. Meanwhile, look at what Epic Yarn drew up. It's Prince Fluff made out of the game's currency.
So that's all the world and stuff out of the way. Let's get on to the part of the game where you can decorate your own apartment. That wasn't a joke. That's a real thing in the game. This is real. That's real.
Why is this a thing? Why is this a freaking thing? Why is this a thing? Why is this a freaking thing? Why is this a thing? Why is this a freaking thing? I don't care about a dumb apartment. I'm gonna swing from the chandelier, from the chandelier. And done. That was a nice minute and a half that I'll never get back in my life. Okay, so those collectibles you need to get in each level to 100% the game are a music track that you can listen to, as well as little decorations you can use to pimp out your crib. Only problem is, I don't care about this feature at all, and neither should you. Also, these decorations are used to decorate other apartments that attract some yarn friends that play minigames with you, which are also needed for 100% completion. These yarn friends, they're like rejected pixels from Super Paper Mario that play little games with you that are just kind of lame. There's nothing necessarily wrong with them, I just didn't enjoy doing them. It's stuff like hide and seek, collecting beads, racing, defeat enemies, turn off the game, play something else. Some of them are actually challenging and give me a real run for my money. But in general, they're just, I don't want to play. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. My criticism with this section is a product of me just being a video game reviewer hyperbolizing rage. Like, I think there's a guy on this platform where that's his entire thing. I'm not entirely sure though. But these little missions aren't all that harmful. They're not required to beat the game just for completion. However, I feel these little missions don't get enough hate. Let's break it down. So for the main adventure, for getting all the goodies and gold ranking every level, it took me around 7 hours. These missions took me around 4 hours. That's more than half of 7. I did the math. That shouldn't be a thing. Think of all the things I could do in 4 hours. Like watch the Smash documentary, Pet my dog. Eat banana. There are 100 of these little play with your palace type of ordeals. 100 levels of these. Shoot me. When I was recording this footage, I just wanted this to end. I stuck through it though, for you people, because I love you and I care, but I didn't want to.
But why are these missions so boring?
Because they're just padding, you stupid idiot.
No, but like besides that, there must be some stupidly complex reason that's arguably contrived to explain why these quests are just not good. If only I knew someone that's good at giving reasons like that.
I feel like a part of the reason why these little games suck is because a lot of the magic of this title is seeing what's it going to do next. With Yarn. The entertainment gained from playing through Kirby's Fantastic Fabric is not necessarily through platforming challenges and the likes, but by experiencing each level for the first time and seeing what kind of Yarn-related shenanigans will ensue. The reason as to why I went through every world in such a way in this video, besides, you know, it puts information in an organized and easy-to-consume manner, is because those levels and the type of Yarn-based hazards and mechanics that accompany these levels are what makes this game so special. These little side quests make you repeat levels and waste your time. You don't care about these places no more. I've seen the electric woobly boobs. I've seen the quicksand. I'm done with them. Trash.
So the game undeniably has a fantastic art style. However, how would I rate the entire experience overall? Well, I would compare Kirby's Epic Yarn to homemade cookies made by your grandma. Allow me to explain.
Okay, I know this video was pretty void of a lot of structured analysis, but that's mostly due in part by how this game isn't all that special from a technical perspective. It's an easy 2D platformer that's pretty short, has tight controls, and overall can be a good time. Simple as that. However, it's the art style, the Yarn aesthetic that makes this game special. The presentation, the music, graphically this game looks amazing even to this day. And that would be one thing, if Kirby Epic Yarn just looked and sounded amazing, but it's the creativity, the love, and care put behind it that really makes this title shine. Every little mechanic, enemy, and set piece are all made out of arts and crafts, and the gameplay itself is heavily impacted by the aesthetic and is even centered entirely around it. However, the reason why this game specifically is just a cookie, as it's very easy. If you're not trying to 100% it, this experience is absolutely brain dead, but at least through a completion run, it isn't entirely a breeze. I would describe this title as pleasant, not really good or bad. You see, I don't believe in good or bad games. I think we can't objectify an experience that's subjective in nature. No, I'm just kidding. That's the most pretentious drivel I've ever heard. If someone ever told me that, I think I would throw up on them on the spot. Just not even an exaggeration, just straight up. I like this game a lot. It has a special place in my heart, and while it isn't the most balls-tastically challenged title I've ever played, it's creative and kind of whimsical to go through. It's a little dessert, something you just nibble on after eating a huge meal. And people will argue that other titles have done what this one has accomplished, you know, centering mechanics around the art style like Tearaway and modern Paper Mario. To which I rebuttal, who did it first, bro? Shut up.
And don't worry, guys. I know exactly what's on everyone's mind right now, and allow me to quell your concerns. I fixed the title of the game. Really great Yarn art style game that has pink sock boy in it. Get your kicks from this video now, because Nintendo's gonna be knocking on my door any moment to shut this video down. I'm telling you. It's gonna happen.
Hey everybody, it's me, it's Webcam Shnack. I'm the guy that made the video, haha. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you want to make a comment, make a comment. Actually, make the comment, please. If you hated, make the comment. If I know you in real life and you don't make a comment, you're. Yeah, it really mean a lot, and I just wanted to list a couple people I appreciate. Here are their names right there. These people are beautiful, and I love them, and they're great people. They're the best. Yeah. And don't forget, please don't forget, check out my Twitch. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my other videos. Have a great summer.